There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Rarely going where no one has gone before. Welcome to the Captain's Chair, a Star Trek Lower Decks podcast on the Fangirl Zone. I'm Redshirt Dave, and joining me on this mission into the unknown is...
I'm Chief Engineer Steve, and tonight we'll be discussing Episode 8 of Star Trek Lower Decks.
Steve, I heard tell this might be one of your favorite episodes. Is that true?
Yes, it definitely was in my top 5 so far, that's for sure.
Top 5, how many has there been?
8.
8? All right.
I'll move it up to top 3. What the hell?
High bar there, Steve. Yeah, I don't think everyone loved my favorite as much as I did. I'm on IMDb. I thought the best one of the season was Cupid's Air and Arrow, and that only got like a 6.
Yeah.
On IMDb. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it was okay." I'm like, "That's so awesome."
Yeah.
Oh well. As last week's was very Star Trekky, especially the Mariner part.
Right.
And everyone was, oh, by the way, everyone's back together in this one. I mean, they separated just about everyone last week, and now everyone's back together. So I think I prefer it that way. I'm not sure you can always do that.
Right.
But this one seemed to have more of that frenetic tone again, how they started the season. Well, like things are just off the edge or kilter or just batshit crazy at times.
This whole episode was batshit crazy.
We're going to hear from Fred later on. I think there was elements of that he just didn't like.
Yes.
I can see his point of view.
Right.
Oh, I still wonder if they have found their way on the show they want to be. I know they want to be funny.
Right.
But how do they want to be funny?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. Should it entail elements of drama? Because that's something you can always play off, but you don't want to get too deep. I think we had a discussion last week, like how deep or dark do they want to go? You know?
Right. Yeah.
You can only go so far, and then it's not funny anymore. Well, that's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just the big question here is how deep into a actual drama are they going to get? Are they going to keep it more on the comedy side, or are they still going to be able to do some darkness with some comedy mixed in?
Yeah. I think the way they repair their darkness sometimes is when they all realize they're friends in the end.
Right.
Well, I still got you, or whatever. But they haven't resolved Mariner's big secret that the captain, the admiral, are her parents. And they haven't resolved why she's always in trouble, what led to her on a fast track to become a captain, or at least lieutenant, and still getting shoved back to ensign.
Right.
Is it going to be deep and dark, or are they just going to say she's a screw-up? And she's not a screw-up.
No.
So good luck to them.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I can't fix everything for them.
Yeah. Well,
worthy. I think it's worthy the note, though, as far as direction. Have we heard about season 2?
Not officially, no.
Yeah. I can't see how they wouldn't do it, but...
no, I think
why not?
Get it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well...
Let's jump in.
Yeah, episode 8, Veritas, the truth. Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford are caught off guard, shocker, when certain aliens force them to testify about a series of apparently unrelated events.
So we open on Ketuvin Prime.
Ketuvin.
Yeah, where Mariner, Boimler, and Tendi, Rutherford are all thrown into what looks like a prison cell, though none of them have any clue why they're there.
Sure looked like a prison cell to me.
Yeah.
What was that? Boimler at the beginning, he's like panicking. He's like, look at the walls, look at the bars, jagged bars.
And I've got a pottery class at 0900.
I know. Only him. Such a square.
And of course, he yells out the bars, context, please.
Yeah. Really.
I need more information. Tendi freaks out that they're in trouble because she replicates too much ice.
I made a note of that. And like, who replicates ice? Don't you just make ice?
Yes.
I know they're always lampooning themselves. You just freeze water, but not her.
No, she's got to replicate it.
Or not them. She has to replicate because she loves ice. I love ice.
Now, somehow Boimler saw the senior staff get taken into another room, and so Mariner tries to assure him that their current cell is much better than what a Klingon prison cell is like.
How would she know?
Exactly.
Aha! A clue.
Yes, very possibly.
Yep.
And whatever's going to happen is going to be no big deal, but as soon as she says that, their cell begins to rise.
Yeah, pretty classic.
Yes. And they're brought into a dark room full of primes who are chanting and playing drums as they're brought in. And it's Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country all over again.
Yes. Yeah. Very Klingon.
Yep.
Klingon-y or Klingon-esque.
Yeah. And Rutherford spots the senior staff suspended in a beam of light. And Mariner immediately suspects they're being put on trial.
That is classic original Star Trek.
Oh, absolutely.
I miss that stuff. It's so funny. And when you see it roll into something like that, like, well, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
And they do. And that's all they do on the show is take the classic and Next Generation stuff, especially, and they just tip it on end.
Right. How can we flip this type of story upside down? And they did a good job of this one.
Yeah. Not completely. We're going to hear from Fred.
Yeah.
He has reservations.
Yes, he does.
So, shall we get on to 12 Angry Ketuvans? That sounds like a kitchen utensil or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Ketuvan? I want to flip these eggs. So we get Clar. I wonder what that's short for. He's masterfully played by Kurtwood Smith. He demands to know what of the wondrous events of Captain Freeman on the bridge in the Cerritos during a confrontation with some bug aliens named the Clicket. Not cricket, not clicker, Clicket.
Yeah.
So that was our first clue that something was going to be tipped on its ear.
Right.
He wants to know about their wondrous events. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Don't you see the beam? They can't move. They're not talking.
Right.
Everyone's angry and the drums are beating. Wondrous events. Okay. So we get a little bit of flashback. We go to the repair bay of the Cerritos where Mariner, Bowman, Tenby, and Rutherford are doing maintenance on the shuttlecraft. I think we pointed this out before, but everything in that repair bay is like dirty and grimy. And there's always some spills.
Right.
There's stuff dripping down the wall. That's so un-Star Trek. Because everything's usually immaculate.
Yeah.
And then down there, it's much less. Immaculate.
Looks like a garage.
It does. It does. Like, why would they have grease and stuff oozing from everywhere? They can't be good.
No.
So while they're working, Mariner and Boimler are having a debate on who's a bigger badass between Roga Danar and Khan Noonien Singh. And Tenley briefly excuses herself to use the restroom. She wants them to hold a conversation. Hold on. Hold that point right there.
Yeah.
And that's almost like last. Every time she goes to the bathroom, she actually worked on DNA.
Yeah.
To make her dog.
Yep.
I was wondering, what's she really doing? Is she really going to the bathroom? But the funny thing is, she
she's
comes
replicating ice.
Yeah, replicating ice. Look what I made. Sculpture, probably of Picard or something. And she comes in and says they're on red alert, and they all look at her. No, we're not. Afraid so. Well, I haven't heard the alarm. Rutherford says he messed with the red alert alarm so it would be even louder.
No.
Yeah, and Mariner's like, what? That's the last thing you want to mess with, especially when you use the words mess with. What do you want to mess with that for?
Right.
So, realizing he did something wrong, the ensigns all run out of the repair bay to see the ship is indeed on red alert, and Boimler worries he'll get in trouble for ignoring it. And did you see the utter chaos when it's red alert on that ship? Everyone's like running around.
Yeah.
In classic Trek, or at least in Next Generation, everyone does fast walk.
Right, yes.
Let's not panic. We're not going to panic. Except on this ship, you get their arms in the air and they're like zooming by, like God screaming.
Guy is falling.
I know, the sky is falling. So it's funny. Mariner and Boimler have to go to the turbo lift to get up to the bridge, and Boimler is unsure if he can fake it on the bridge, which, no, he can't. But Mariner, I mean, he is so bad sometimes. Mariner's afraid they're all going to get kicked off the ship and transferred to Earth. Earth turns out to be the most the way she describes it, unfun place in the galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
She describes it, and it sounds like a little bit of heaven. Well, that's the Earth I want to live in for sure. She's like, boring.
Yeah, sipping wine and eating soul food.
Yeah, eating soul food. I want to do that.
That was a knockoff on Cisco's restaurant.
Yeah. Anyway, Mariner talks about the time they were late arriving for a bridge duty, and Freeman obtained a map of a map of the neutral zone from the Click-It. Jesus. The encounter went badly, and they take offense in the fact that Freeman thanked them. What are you thanking me for?
Yeah, that's an insult.
How dare you? To make matters worse, when Freeman says to send them a message, Mariner interprets that as fire a warning shot. That was awesome. That's exactly what I would do.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing? I wanted you to send him a dinner invitation. How the heck was she supposed to know that?
Yeah.
And of course, Boimler was a 5-star screw-up. You can get anything right.
No.
Shax is like, what? No. And the captain's like, what? You're embarrassing yourself, son.
Yeah.
And the cat doctor is like, is he serious?
Yeah.
And he got zero help from Mariner, too.
Oh, yeah. He was just left out to roast on the stove.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Did not go well for him.
No.
Anyway, Clark is not satisfied with the flashback and demands to know more about the map and threatens Mariner with a tank of contempt, which is full of giant wriggling eels, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Especially if they're electric eels.
Yeah, I know. They should have been like going.
Yeah, that would have made it even better.
Yeah.
So we'll bring up the next witness. As we see Shax and Billups recruiting Rutherford. Because they cut, he's just sitting there rotating stuff and just singing and having a good old time and just doing his job. And they ask him, can you get a Romulan text and flight manual? And of course he goes, yeah, I can do that, but I usually do it at night, update at night. Oh, we got to have it now.
Billups is really, he's a kind of a bizarre dude. He's like, right now. I'm not sure I know of anyone that you can attach him to in the real Star Trek world.
No.
Which is who would he be the analog for? I can't think of anyone. No one's that much of a dick.
No.
I guess that's.
Nobody. Very few people in engineering are that way.
Yeah, sure. It sure isn't Scotty. No way.
No.
Not any iteration of Scotty.
Nope.
Huh. I don't know.
Not Trip. I mean, Trip could be at times.
Yeah.
But not a lot. And of course, LaForge sure wasn't.
No way.
And, are we thinking Roxana, maybe, on Voyager?
I don't know.
No, it's still not really.
No, not really. I don't think so.
Yeah. So, this is a guy kind of hard to get a finger on who this guy is.
I'm not sure. We're going to learn more if we even want to.
Right.
But we may find out why this guy's such a dick, or hardcore at least.
Yeah. Now, of course, as soon as Billups is about to brief him, out he goes, because when the update's complete, he goes out.
That was kind of clever, though. Every time he wakes up, it's a different situation.
Yes.
He's trying to catch up with his own memory.
Yep. Because, of course, he wakes up and they're on a shuttle with a bunch of knocked out Vulcans on them.
Yeah. Spock and Spock.
Yeah.
Everyone's named Spock.
Yeah. And he still doesn't know what he's doing or what's the story or nothing. And they leave the shuttle by skydiving.
Yeah.
Shax just throws him out.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and he's on Vulcan below a TOS old bird of prey.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, it was. Awful nice to see one of those again. And Shax is crawling up.
I know. The guy's about as wide as he is tall, and he's trying to shimmy up this girder.
Yeah. Landing gear.
Yeah.
And, of course, we see a Vulcan guard come up and wants to know what they're doing, so Shax tells him to do the fan dance.
Yep. Hey, what are you doing? You're distracting me. It works.
Yeah. And updates again, so out he goes again. And when he wakes up, he's in the middle of space.
Yeah.
He just kind of goes, what the hell happened here?
And then it comes out of cloaking. And he goes, oh, right, of course.
Yes.
Oh, right. He stomps on the door as if that's going to help him get back in or something. Yeah. And Shax is on there. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, get over here. Because Billups is babbling on about nonsense. And Rutherford checks him. And he's got a minute of oxygen left. So, of course, he has to hurry. And, of course, his time is running out for another reset.
And he keeps crashing into invisible stuff.
But he finally gets on the shuttle. And he goes out again, and the next thing he wakes up and he's at a Gorn wedding.
Ah, God. Gorn wedding. That's something you just panic and say, Gorn wedding.
Yeah. Now, of course, when he did get in the shuttle, when he passes out, apparently he hits the control panel and just off they go. And you kind of go, you just left the bird of prey behind. And it looked like the shuttle had crashed on the Gorn planet.
Yeah.
What the hell? Hold on a minute here.
I meant to tell you when he was crashing into stuff on the, there's two look back to the original series and the movie series.
Right.
From the original crew. Because I forgot the character's name, but she kept banging into the invisible cloaked. It was a Klingon ship. She bang her head into it.
Yes,
I forgot her name.
Yeah, the oceanologist or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
So that was the movie series, and then of course the Gorn is the original series.
Yes,
the feats of strength against that Gorn is some guy in a rubber suit and Kirk. Yeah. The good old days.
And of course, we never get the story of how he actually gets out of there. So
yeah,
who knows?
Oh, like something again tipped on its ear.
Yeah. So of course this doesn't satisfy Clark either. So Sam goes up to hover over the eel tank as well.
Yeah. Beckett looks at him and goes, "Aren't you paying attention?"
We don't know anything.
Yeah. So it becomes Tendy's turn to speak the truth. And this time about Ransom, she's hampered by the fact that her story is classified by Starfleet, and she makes these faces. Tendy's cute. She's a cute character.
Yeah.
And she's always making this, like, she's squirming or like, I don't know. And she got the faces. She was cute with her dog last week. I got to find out more about her background, especially the green, her being green.
Yeah.
It turns out this is another failure to communicate, this time over the name Cleaner. She fell into a covert mission aboard the Romulan bird of prey that Rutherford sort of remembered helping to steal.
Yeah.
Using the map of the neutral zone from 2 flashbacks ago, the overly enthusiastic Orion ends up joining Ransom's special outforce to extract the package from a facility on Romulus. It's all very hush-hush, and of course we got black suits again.
Yep.
And her flashback is humorously seasoned with bleep audio redactions and black bars to protect the identities of the team. I did like that. That was funny. Can't tell who they are, but they're also hardcore, like jocks or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or Delta Force, or like, ooh.
They all had the neck tattoo.
Yeah, the neck tattoo.
Like, who's going to get a Starfleet emblem tattoo on your neck when you're on a covert mission? Come on.
Yeah, I know. Way to go. Only that's pure locker room junk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So needless to say, Clark was not happy about this and sends all 3 testifying ensigns into the vat of eels, which for some reason is now being boiled.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a reference somewhere.
Yeah. Now, it was hilarious to see Tendi take on the tallest Yar and just kick ass.
Oh, that was awesome.
Out of nowhere, like, where did that come from? And of course, Ransom was even surprised. She was just supposed to beam us up.
I know, that was awesome. Do your thing. Okay. And she goes into, those are great kicks and roundhouses, chopping her way through everybody. What is she doing? I don't know. I thought she was just supposed to beam us up. She doesn't know.
No. And this leads us to Boimler. With his friends in peril, Brad finally puts his big boy pants on and lays some Veritas, which is that the lower deckers never know anything.
I know. That's the one thing he's finally serious about. He's nervous about everything. Just hold on a second. We never know anything, so don't put this on us.
Yeah. They can't satisfy this odd line of inquiry about the senior officers whom Claire imagines are all infallible heroes like all members of Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to drop you some truths here. The bridge crew of the Cerritos puts on their spacesuit pants one leg at a time like everyone else, and they make mistakes.
It's funny, as the viewing audience, they never make mistakes, and if they do, it's just part of the plot.
Right.
Because they're going to fix it anyway.
Right. And of course, he uses flashbacks to recall some fun and winning moments. Like when Ransom hit on a salt vampire.
Yeah.
And of course, the time Tiana thought she was in a parallel universe when she just was actually on the wrong ship. Fuck, they all look the same.
Yeah, they do. That was funny. I seen a bug Boimler floating in the air.
Yes. A female Shax. And
yeah. And Billups comes up and he's the medical officer.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Greatness.
Yeah.
So he declares the whole trial a sham, which of course turns out to be sort of right.
Yeah.
Final and should be obvious miscommunication twist that this was never a trial. Clark isn't an interrogating prosecutor. He's a thankful kidnapped by Romulan's magistrate, rescued by the crew of the Cerritos. He was the package that all these flashbacks led up to, and actually, it isn't a courtroom. It's one of their nicest silos.
I know, silos. That's where you go and have events.
Yeah.
What did he say? He got married there?
Yes, he actually said he got married there.
Where he got married.
And the bridge crew isn't being held in stasis for judgment, but in the beam of celebration, awaiting their story to be carved in stone. And Mariners goes, no, we ain't having none of this.
Yeah.
And her mom actually has to walk her out of there before she says too much.
I know. She bickers with everyone as though she's in junior high or a freshman in high school.
Right.
You did. No, you did. You did.
And after getting commendations for standing up for Starfleet ideals in the face of death, even though they were really facing a party venue full of balloons, everything resets back.
Yay.
Now, of course, Freeman says she'll be more open about the missions, until our lower deckers start pounding her with questions.
Yeah.
What did Carr do to get captured by the Romulans? I missed that part, Mariner asked.
Yeah, they're really zapped. I mean, because there going to be plenty of plot holes.
Oh, yeah.
in Star Trek episodes. Even Picard had a few this season. And she's just taken on the role of the viewing, like, hey, hold it. That doesn't make sense.
No. Tendi adds, why did you let them hurt us with eels if you knew it wasn't a trial?
Oh, God.
And Rutherford wants to know who was on that secret team that infiltrated the neutral zone.
Yeah.
And Boimler comes up with the best one of all. Why couldn't you just ask the Vulcans to borrow the bird of prey?
I know. Really, how many times have you watched a Star Trek series and you're like, well, that didn't make sense. I love the show so much, but that didn't make sense.
Yeah. So, of course, Freeman yells at them that they're dismissed, and so we see Boimler and Mariner heading back to the lower decks when Q pops up.
Oh, God.
And Mariner basically tells him, we ain't in no mood for your crap. No way, no how. Go bug Picard.
Yeah, he's an omnipotent being, and she just walks right by him. Not today.
Yeah, nope. We've had a bad day. We ain't dealing. No games.
He's so frustrated, too. He must have been so happy, John Delancey, to play that Q again, especially in a comedic role. I mean, he always did comedic roles, but that was funny, too.
Yes. Speaking French, and Mariner goes, nobody speaks French in here. And Picard's no fun. He only wants to make wine. And
yeah. You may be shocked to find out that's going to make my top 5 jokes.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to get on to a little Easter eggs boomer talk. I mean, we've had some boomer talk already.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't get into is shirts being ripped off. I could rip my shirt off right now, though.
Yeah.
But being a boomer, that's probably not pretty. So
no,
we don't want any of the listening audience to picture that like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, we mentioned Kurtwood Smith earlier. He oozed menace and definitely switched after the twist to become just a guy trying to do a nice thing who's dealing with annoying party planners. Another real world event.
Yes. Your 22 minutes are up.
Yeah,
but we
22
minutes. To etch anything.
Yeah, etch. Other people want to etch. He first appeared as the Federation president in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and later played Thrax in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine 5th episode, Things Past. In 1997, he played the role of Anarax in the Star Trek Voyager 4th season episode, Year of Hell, and Year of Hell Part 2.
Great episodes.
Yeah. I miss all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was also great to hear Discovery guest actor Ken Mitchell show his bunny sign as the Click-It Captain Twerk. I get it. Kenneth Mitchell portrayed the Klingons Call Shah, Tadavek in season 1 of Star Trek Discovery. Twerk's funny. We got a lot of twerking up here in the Northeast when we had, what's the name of our tight end? We used to have Gronk. Sorry, Gronk.
Yeah.
He was always twerking. I'm like, first of all, what is a twerk? I'm like, oh, being a boomer, I had no idea. But then, of course, we had to learn, like, oh, God.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
And here's another one. Veritas is another take on a Next Generation namesake. And by this time around, it's even structurally in sync with Lower Decks, an episode about a secret mission that the titular Lower Decks of the Enterprise D were kept in the dark about by their senior officers, even though they were inadvertently embroiled in it. Take that, Enterprise D.
Yeah.
Nobody is safe from being skewered on this show.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Funhouse mirror version of the most deadly Trek spy missions stories ever.
Yes.
Once again,
great
skewered.
spy missions that are just, oh, you guys are so bad at this.
Yeah. Starting in the original series with the Enterprise incident, Kirk and Spock carry on an elaborate charade to convince the Romulans that Captain Kirk has gone insane, which means that the Enterprise can be in the Romulan neutral zone on accident. I don't know how they get away with that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you get away with the foam rocks, you can get away with being in the neutral zone by accident.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was later revealed that Spock and Kirk were keeping the crew out of the loop, mostly for plausible deniability. Whew, I don't know, with phaser cannons.
Yeah.
If we fast forward to another Romulan-centric spy episode, The Origin of Tal Shiar, in the Next Generation episode, The Face of the Enemy. In this one, Counselor Troi wakes up to discover she's been surgically altered to look like a Romulan because progressive Romulan descents need an undercover Starfleet officer with them in case something goes wrong, which I like that. I enjoyed that episode.
Oh, yeah. It was great. We got to see Spock.
And all of this was in service of Spock's underground Romulan peace movement during the Next Generation time frame, which is kind of serial in fashion, which is great. I love that.
Yes.
In Deep Space Nine, Garak drops hints for the entire first season that he's not really a simple tailor. We find out he's an exiled agent of the Cardassian spy group, the Obsidian Order. Yeah, that was kind of cool, too. I liked his character.
Garak he was a character, all right.
Yeah. In Star Trek Discovery, the Klingon Vok has his memory suppressed so he can become the human Ash Tyler. That was kind of spooky, actually.
Yes, it was.
He had to shatter his bones just to become Ash Tyler. Didn't he have to unshatter? Did they unshatter his bones? Or did he just... I can't remember. That was sick, though.
Yeah.
I didn't think that character was going to survive.
No, and he still did.
In the original series, a Klingon agent named Darvin just undergoes some cosmetic surgery and retains his memories but still gets to spy on Federation grain supplies. That was kind of classic, too. That was the Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
And that was back in the days when the Klingons didn't have the same facial attributes, let's call it.
Right, yeah. They didn't have the big ridges.
No. Okay. Shax has Rutherford distract a guard with fan hands, like Uhura in Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. Rutherford is thankfully clothed.
Yeah.
I just like how he just goes into it. Do the dance. Okay.
Yeah.
He's like grunting his way. And back in the shuttle, Shax, Rutherford, and Phillips using a similar design to the warp engine attached from a Spock shuttle in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, except larger and with more detail. Q shows up dressed in his judge outfit from the Next Generation series premiere. I love that. Love the chair.
Yes.
Love the stupid hat. And we also found out that Ransom unknowingly dated a assault vampire. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. He's like, okay, dude, she doesn't even bother.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, knock yourself out. Assault vampire. And good old Boimler rattles off a bunch of TNG, TOS, and TAS incidents to prove that those crews had no idea what they were getting into at the time. He caps off his mic drop, the horn, clunk, by shouting, drumhead, referencing the original episode. No, Next Generation episode of the same name. They had an insane admiral running a kangaroo court. Remember that one, too?
Oh, yeah.
And just a couple more Star Trek-y things, Easter eggs, etc. Boimler brings up how Roga Danara outsmarted Picard in a discussion about who's the biggest badass. Mariner brings up Khan, referencing the space seed. He was a damn space seed. And his abs in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And with his appearance as Q, John Delancey becomes the first actor to reprise his character from a previous Star Trek series, or in a case, multiple Star Trek series on Lower Decks, which made me very happy.
Yes, absolutely.
So, just to roll it off here, I've got top five jokes. These are kind of like chain jokes because they kind of work off each other and were multiple layers instead of just like a cube rolling by, which was a visual joke from last week.
Right.
Anyway, number 5 is pottery class. He's got pottery class at 0900, which stupid Boimler, which rolled into Tendy's joke about replicating ice, which I kicked my foot in the air like, who replicates ice? You just make ice. Not in that century, you don't.
Nope.
Number 4 is another chain joke or a series of jokes, was the Q ending, where they reference Picard, and we reference they have to do the test. Everyone just drinks wine or quotes Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I'm like, boom, 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 right after one after another. Also, number 3 was another Q-related joke when he sends everybody off to the, it's totally ridiculous.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland setting.
Yeah, they're either playing chess or are they cards or is it soccer?
Yeah.
That was suitably insane. That was insane.
Yes.
What are we
right
supposed
up
to
Q's alley. I mean, that was perfect for Q.
Yeah, it made no sense. And the captain's like, okay, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Soccer, okay, nope, that didn't work either. Well, that's rolled into the salt vampire joke, and then poor old Alhambra, the ship that the doctor watching. Well, I don't know, they all look the same. Number 2 was the red alert everywhere. I just love that one.
Yes.
It rolled into the jokes about hanging out on Earth. There's nothing to do there anyway. You drink wine, hang out in vineyards, and eat soul food.
Yeah.
Which rolled eventually into the bridge and sent him a message, and she shot him with phasers. Yeah. That's not what it means. Yeah, it does. Oh, okay. My first one was, I don't know. This one just struck me as funny. I just like Tendy's contribution is tidying up the conference room.
Yes.
What should I wear? Probably my uniform.
Yeah.
Which rolls into the cat hair joke. There actually is cat hair that she has to use the roller.
Right.
And then, which was hilarious. And then she becomes the cleaner out of that too. I see the cleaner's here. She's, yep, that's me.
Yep.
Only they're expecting a wholly different type of cleaner.
Yes.
And they suit up and go on this secret mission. And then he goes, cover our 6. She goes, 6 what?
Oh, I guess I should be listening.
Yeah, I know. Oh boy!
Awesome.
Yeah, she's kicking ass, and the whole thing was she's just supposed to beam him up.
Right. Oh yeah, and Tiana's saying she better shave her. Beep.
Oh yes. I did make a note of that too. Yeah, and they all like giggle together. Maybe you should.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yes, good jokes, Steve. Good jokes in this one.
Yep, there sure were. Well, as usual, Fred from the Netherlands has sent us some feedback. Well, let's see what Fred thought of this episode.
Hello, Steve and Dave. This is Fred from the Netherlands with some feedback for Star Trek Lower Decks Season 1, Episode 8. From the beginning, I thought this must be a dream or a simulation or something like that. Well, actually, it was a party. But it took me a little bit too long to find out what it really was. In the concept, it was okay, but just took a little too long. And what also took too long is the appearance of Q. Well, of course, we didn't know he would appear in this episode. But then when he finally did, I thought, okay, they could have shown him earlier and he could have had a bigger role. But perhaps he will come back in the next few episodes. And it was, of course, nice to hear John Delancey's, Q's actor, his voice. I think he has the record of most crossovers between the different Star Trek series, from Voyager to Deep Space Nine to The Next Generation and now Lower Decks. The opening scene, of course, reminded us from the trial that Kirk and McCoy got when they got convicted to Rura Penthe, though I was thinking it was something like that. I thought Tandy telling the story but not disclosing everything with the black boxes in front of their heads was quite funny. Of course, in medicine, we use that often when we do presentations and we don't want to show the identity of a patient. And that it at the end was a party, I found a little bit far-fetched, actually. Okay, that was all for now. Greetings, all the best, Fred from the Netherlands.
Yeah, I can understand his frustration. It was a little far-fetched, and that's what they tried to do on this show. I'm not sure that joke totally landed.
Right.
Where they tucked everything on its ear. It wasn't the destination, though. It was the journey.
Yes.
That got us there. The stuff along the way was fine, but was funny. But I have to agree with Fred.
Yeah, I tend to as well. I mean, yeah, I like you. I like the journey a whole lot more than I like the way they landed it.
Yeah,
but it still made sense to me because they'd never seen the primes before, so it was like,
yeah,
who are these people?
Yeah, and of course they look like, I don't know, evil lizards.
Right, yeah. I thought they actually
growly
looked like,
voices and teeth.
A villain from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
One of those made-up monsters.
It's just turned its head, and then by the time they got there, like Fred said, it's like, yeah, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, Fred, the blackout stuff in Tindy's flashback was definitely awesome.
Some of the stuff they do, I wish they do in the real episodes, like when they're trying to escape custody or with the top secret. They say, okay, here's your pit, do it now. And they're doing something totally way off plan. Like, and the rest of them look at each other like they did with Tenny, like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
That's not part of the plan. I really do wish we'd see that more often.
Yep. Well, Fred, we really appreciate your feedback and looking forward to hearing your thoughts on episode 9. We'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode this season and looking forward to interacting with you on social media. How can the fans interact with us, Dave?
I will tell you, Steve. They can go to the www.fangirlzone.com and click on the contact link, where you'll find several ways to contact us via email or through social media. On Twitter, there's @SawyerSteve, or you can find me at TheRealIDDave.
Please review and rate us on iTunes and every other platform you're listening to us on, as good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us, as there are a lot of Lower Deck podcasts out there. Tell your friends, and we do hope you're enjoying our podcast. And don't forget to check out the other great Fangirl Zone podcasts.
The 9th episode is on October 1st and is titled Crisis Point. So until then, remember...
This is Chief Engineer Steve. Son, you're embarrassing yourself.
And this is Red Shirt Dave. And you know what, Steve? We have a bar down the street, and it's called the Tank of Contempt. And I'm telling you, the best drink will definitely eat a hole through your pants.